Gentlemen, in this video, I've got the most professional setup imaginable, the best handwriting, the best illustrations, just for yourself. So, we're going to be discussing decision making, because we want to make you the best decision maker. I'm someone that has fallen into the trap of having a little habit tracker, spending my days creating new plans, new fitness regimes, creating new Google calendars, because I'm an organized person and I like the dopamine that I get from organizing my life, but it's not going to make you a man that makes the right decisions, you know, because as soon as those systems collapse, you're going to be going ahead and grabbing that bag of Skittles. We all know it. So in this video, we're going to be discussing everything you need to know about making decisions. Why is such an important thing? Because, well and truly guys, you're not idiots. You don't need a habit tracker in front of you to know what you need to be doing. But before we get into this, in order to actually put this into practice, you cannot be like a dumb fuck who scrolls on social media and watches porn, because people who do those things do not have high functioning brains. Like, I've been there myself. Whatever your like huge source of dopamine is, like that negative dopamine, that is inhibiting your ability to think. That is a well-known fact. Dopamine makes your brain go crazy, and your brain struggles to communicate with the rest of your body, and you struggle to even know what's going on around you. So inhibits your ability to think, guys. So just remember that. So before we get into this, make sure you go ahead and watch my last couple of videos about actually removing negative habits. But this is the next stage, really, guys. When you've gone a week without really doing any of that stuff, we can actually start making some good decisions. So, the N-word. What is the N-word? The N-word is no. You need to get used to saying that. That needs to be your default. You know, before you even say yes, if a friend of yours says, "Oh, how about we go out for a meal tonight?" You're like, just thinking, "Oh, probably not, mate. Yeah, I just got lots of it get going on." Like, we all know friends are going to try convince you anyway. But before you say yes, just say no in your own brain and just weigh up the decisions, you know? We're going to go into making decisions in a minute. But, yeah, like, my point is, guys, boredom is a very good thing. I think I said this in my last video as well. When I used to get that, like, horrible feeling after a night out because I wasn't where I wanted to be with girls, I think that is a good thing. That makes you grow. Also, I think boredom is a thing that makes you grow. Every single emotion has a purpose behind it. And if you actually feel that emotion, you're going to actually make some good progress. Like, especially with boredom as well. When you just sat there, you allow yourself to be with your thoughts, allow your brains to communicate with the rest of your body, your environment, you come up with some pretty fantastic ideas. So maybe, like, if you've got a big decision to make, just try being in a bit of silence, guys, you know? I mean, like, that's what I do, personally. If I get stressed out, which I get stressed out every day, if I had a stressful day in the office, you know, I go sit in the back room for 30 minutes and just be with my own thoughts, and that is a very great way to be. So, balance, guys, balance. I'm not telling you to be perfect, because being perfect would mean all of your hard work means nothing, because you're not putting it to good use. You're not going out, you're not going to nice restaurants, you're not spending your money on a nice lady, you're not going out with your boys. So, balance. It's not about perfection, guys. You need to get in, like, good flow states. You need to get in the right flow state of making decisions. But you also, when you feel yourself, like, getting a bit burnt out and, like, you're not really using your life the way you should be, you should say, "Okay, boys, let's go for a night out in London," or let me message that girl I haven't spoken to her in a while. Let's go out tonight. But yeah, I mean, here's another good point. At home versus out. My decision making is very different when I'm right here in this house to when I'm in Barcelona. And the reason that is because it doesn't sit right with me getting a takeaway by myself. When I'm by myself, I'm a high functioning man. I'm making progress. I mean, it's the same with my boys, but it's very different depending on the environment I'm in. So let's just keep that in mind as well. We also have trajectories. I speak about this in this channel quite a bit. I actually initially got it from Charlie Morgan, and it's just a great way of thinking. The more positive trajectories, you got cause and effect, right? Your causes are the actions you take, and you've got a bit of time between that until the effect happens, which is the result. But your cause and effect can be either positive, so it gets you a positive effect, or negative. So the cause is usually something quite difficult and you get a positive outcome, and the negative outcome usually comes from something pretty easy, pretty enjoyable, like eating a bunch of takeaway, for example. So you also need to remember your effects also have effects. That effect also has effect, so on, so on, so on. So let's say I go to the boxing gym, I pay my coach £45, mate, I want you to really put me through hell today. I want you to give me a workout I will never forget. I push myself through that workout. You know, I'm literally feeling sick at this point. When that's over, I feel fantastic. And that's something I'm gonna remember in the next workout. So let's say 2 weeks later, I don't feel great, but I go out of this workout, and I just remember that grueling time my coach put me through. I'm like, okay, let's dig deep. I'm gonna put myself through this. And then 3 months later, just having that small little cause, you've now got a 6-pack, your lats are bigger than ever. And then you got a negative effect. Let's say you're a 14-year-old boy, you have your first joint. That's pretty nice, you know, feel amazing. People are laughing around me, I've never felt like this before. 2 weeks later, you have your second one. 4 years later, you do your first line of coke, and 6 years later, you're a drug addict. You know, you're having to go to AA meetings. You know, not the best, guys. But those are good examples, and it just proves consequences also have consequences. So the more of those you put out to the world, the more good decisions you make, the better, and the less negative decisions you make, the better. Another point I want to make, and I made a whole video on this, is avoiding the success-failure paradox. This is why decision making is such a good thing. You know, with systems, you might, you know, be disciplined for 2 months, following a little bit of paper. When you see that success hit, you don't know what to do with it. You go for a night out and girls are all over you. So you got the next weekend, suddenly you're looking fat, you're looking not as good, and you go out for the 8th week in a row. The girls you keep seeing, they're a bit they're not really like ignoring you or anything, but they're a bit less receptive. They respect you less, the guys around you respect you less. And you're not necessarily back to where you were in the first place, but you certainly are a lot worse off when you put all that hard work in. But that's why making the right decisions and becoming a good decision maker is such an important skill. Start saying no, guys, you know, like, just make that your default. You're a man, like, you're an adult now. You don't need to be constantly having some source of dopamine, right? So keep this in mind, guys. It's all about making as many good decisions as possible, and most importantly, getting in a flow state of making decisions. Start to enjoy it, and you will. The first couple of times you say no, I mean, even the first time, a lot of you guys can't even say no to a pizza, and like you just sit there and you're like, well, fuck, I know I'm not going to say no to this. You know, I might as well just give in and not stress myself out. You know, might as well, right? But when you say no to that, you actually feel a bit of pride inside, and you get to work the very next day. Your colleague brings a bit of birthday cake in from last night's party, and you say no to that, and you get better and better each time. this goes into business, but remember, you can't do this if your brain is fucked. So remove all this shit and watch that video I told you about. But yeah, start becoming a good decision maker. And yeah, I mean, just fuck off all of the plans, you know, the fitness trackers and all of that. Like, I mean, you know, you just want to be a man that can follow this stuff. I couldn't imagine James Bond, like, James Bondy works out, obviously. I couldn't imagine him getting, like, the heavy app out or, you know, having a habit tracker every day. I just couldn't imagine it. And I see that with most successful guys in the world. Not, like, big YouTubers, like, I mean, like, hyper, like, successful men. I couldn't imagine it. But there we go, guys. Hopefully you found that video helpful. I'm really pretty proud of the videos I've been making recently. I think they're very helpful. I think they're the videos that, I mean, like, are there to help me right now, even, like, but especially back in the day when I wasn't quite where I'm at now. Not to say I haven't got a long way to go. This video is as much about showing the progress I am making than helping maybe you younger guys or guys my age that aren't quite where they want to be in life. But yeah, this stuff is completely possible. This is step 2, guys. See you later.